It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Well. Hello again, everybody, and welcome. It is to get you to the weekend edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. We've got Pirate football coming your way tomorrow. Bright and early, we'll be on the air for Saturday, 9 a.m. for your Pirate Game Day Countdown, brought to you by Anson Belt and Buckle, and presented by Orthopedics East. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow here on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app. A few things to get to before we get going today. We'll have Coach Logan on a little later in the show, plus some other special surprises with that. And we've got high school football tonight on 94.3 The Game right here at 6:45, a 7 o'clock kick. It'll be North Pitt at Lil Washington, the Pampack. Also, you can hear South Central tonight on our sister station, 94.1. Oldies 94.1 as they'll visit Havelock. That game can also be picked up on the IBX Media app. J.H. Rose at New Bern on 102.7. Southwest Edgecombe at Aden Grifton. JP2 at Berrien Baptist. And Conley will take on Jacksonville tonight. That's the Pitt County slate of games. On our sister station, 103.7 WTIB, Duke will host Florida State and try to beat the Seminoles for the first time ever. Let's welcome in our Friday crew. This is the first official Joey Football Friday. We've moved Joe Sampson to Fridays now. The reason being, I don't want to do anything, so we just put the ball on the tee and let Joe swing at it. That's more or less. No, I'm kidding. I've got ECU volleyball tonight on ESPN Plus at the top of the hour, so that's coming up. I'll change in the car on the way over. And Philip the Ref Pilkington is heading to Washington. He's going to get over there as quickly as he can to call the matchup tonight between the Panthers and the Pampack. And our guy, C.J. Wilson, the coach of the North Pitt Panthers. So a little synergy here with Joey Football, a former player with the Pirate program, C.J. Wilson, a former player who's a Super Bowl champion. And really, after that former player at ECU moniker, that's about where it ends because CJ's a Super Bowl champ.
It is, but my color commentator, Addison Bass, also played football and baseball as a Pirate back in the 70s.
Yeah. So there you go. Joe Sampson, fresh from New York. Joe, how was New York?
Incredible. I mean, MetLife was unbelievable. Jet Life, as it's been affectionately called. The primetime atmosphere was insane. I mean, we were sitting in front of some Bills fans, so that was really fun after the Hail Mary to Alan Lazard right in front of us for me to give them a good, real New York welcome as opposed to Canada where they live, also known as Buffalo. So it was incredible. It was electric. They tried to say they were the real New York, and I was like, you are a stone's throw away from a Timmy Hortons. You are nothing when it comes to New York sports.
Did you ever consider – I'll let you get to that because I do want to see if he considered going to a different event that night. But
yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Why wouldn't you have gone to the Yankees game? Yeah.
Because the tickets were bought prior to the Yankees. When we bought the tickets, the Yankees
sell them and buy
fumbling. They were fumbling into the playoffs. They were not supposed to be the 1 seed. It was conversations on if they were going to be the 2 seed, the magic number, and then the Orioles completely fell apart. Sorry, Bobby, got to bring it up. So the Yankees were not supposed to be in that position to be the host team. I was fully envisioning I was going to be watching it on my phone in MetLife while they played at Kansas City or at Detroit or whatever shook out because I thought either we were losing to the Orioles or we were going to be the 2 seed. So this is a completely different spot I was in. My brother was boots on ground for ALCS Game 2 for the Judge home run that was taken out by the ghosts of Monument Park. Have we ever considered maybe Aaron Judge is just being haunted by ghosts? Could that be the issue in the playoffs? But we'll get to that. So I almost was boots on ground for that one, but I kind of just took it and I was like, no, had once in a lifetime experience already. Maybe don't try and stretch my luck here for the second one for ALCS Game 2. But there were conversations. I was not going to be in Citi Field, though. That was for sure.
Well, we knew that, but I thought maybe you knew how StubHub or Ticketmaster work, and you were going to sell your
You'd have
tickets
gone on the
to the
secondary.
Jet games.
Well,
you could have sold your ticket and then use that.
$600 out with all the fees.
That's true.
No, we found him.
We found him for just over
for
$100.
like $100. Yeah, you could have gotten in there. You could have gotten in the building.
Was that sitting with God?
Probably, but it was like at like 5 o'clock. We were like
I will
games
say
were about to
this.
start.
Yeah,
your
seats there at 5.
Your seats to the Jets game were actually pretty good. I was surprised how good they were, actually. Yeah. Well, there you go. So
yeah, pay for your thrills.
I'm having a feeling here as we are on the fly here that we do a double whammy today. The double whammy be Hold My Beer and Does the P-Man Care? Pilk, how do you feel about that? A double whammy today.
I'm okay with it as long as we lead with Does the P-Man Care, because I already have my topics for that, and I have not yet came up with a Hold My Beer. So as long as we do it in that order, I am down, but I've got to think of a Hold My Beer.
Because I think Joe has a Hold My Beer, and I don't really have a Hold My Beer either.
Oh, we know Joe's. Honestly, Joe might be enough for all three of us.
All right, well, let's do that right now. Joey Football with Hold My Beer. Hang on.
Do you have something you need to get off your chest? Get off your chest.
I am not here for rage. I'm here for revenge.
Did your favorite team blow another game?
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Yeah. Or is there just something that's driving you crazy?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
It's time to let it all out.
You have made me very angry indeed.
With another edition of Hold My Beer. Hold My Beer.
I actually have one, but I'll let me go first. Let me go first. So, because of life circumstance, I'm a bit of a nomadic character nowadays, right? And so I staying some at the Working Man's Beach and then in my super top secret bunker and whatever. And so I'm having to go find things that maybe were at my disposal a while ago. So I've for years have gone with the precision pin. I've liked it. I'm a fan. It's what I go to. It's my go-to pin for decades now, probably 20 years or more. I've written with this pin, notes in college, ball games using this pin. I would get versions that have red ink and blue ink and green ink and purple ink to make my notes because I love the way this pen wrote. You know what's happening to this pen? The quality now stinks. I like a boldness to my writing. So what have I done? I went out and I purchased this, the Sharpie pen stylo roller. Sucks. So now I've had to go and spend even more money on the Uniball, which does write boldly but will link ink. So get it together, Precision. Been in a long-time relationship with you, and now you stink. You write puny. It's my Hold My Beer.
Well, Patrick,
Pilk,
that's because you need
come
to go
up
with the
with
Sharpie S-Gel 0.7.
I don't like the gels. I do not like the gels. I don't like the way they write.
Of the writing.
I don't like the way that the gels write. I really don't. Pilk, do you have a Hold My Beer before we go to Joey Football? Because I want to give him a chance for an epic rant.
Yeah, we got to give Joey the time. So, yeah, my Hold My Beer will be from Talk of the Town this morning when the dog I was dog sitting was completely good for the whole first hour of the show. And then all of a sudden, right as I started to do my sports update, Dowdy thought it was playtime. And I don't know if any of you are watching Talk of the Town, but I had to hold him off camera as I was trying to do my update, and he thought it was time to wrestle because the dog is the most playful dog in the world. He is so sweet, but sometimes he doesn't know when it's time for work and time for play. Hold my beer, Dowdy. You, the whole time Patrick was doing another interview, you were all calm, and then when it's my turn to talk, you wanted to go over there and WWE match.
I have never seen someone's life get turned topsy-turvy like Pilks has this week, house sitting and dog watching. Usually this is something that's very fun for the person involved in it because you're usually house sitting for. If somebody has you house sitting, It's because they have a pretty nice house. So you're getting to
They do have a
stay
nice
probably
house.
you're getting to stay somewhere nicer than where you normally would live. That's kind of one of the perks of house sitting. Pilk seems very stressed about the house sitting this week, number one. And number two, nobody pays attention to the dogs when they're dog sitting. You let them out. You let them do something. You feed them something. You might feed them a table scrap, even if they have a certain diet, because it's not your dog. You don't face it's like having my nephews and niece. I'll give them candy because at the end of the day, I don't have to deal with them at night.
I do have to
when
deal
they're all
with
sugared
them at
up.
night. But no, it's not been that bad. It's just the fact that I have been really slammed this week, so I haven't had much time to be there. So it's like I've got to strategically run back to let the dog out. I think, like
This
Saturday
is the craziest
afternoon.
thing I've ever heard.
Listen, Saturday
It's a
afternoon, once I
dog.
get back from work, it's going to be, he's a spoiled, rotten dog. That's the problem.
That's not your problem. You just let the dog out in the backyard.
No,
Put
they
a
live
little
in
water out.
No, they don't have a fenced-in area. You got to take them out on a leash. They live in a condo.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's not an apartment. It is a condo. They own it.
God.
But yeah, you got to take him out on the leash and then he wants to sniff for 45 minutes and you're like, dude, I got to get back into work. It's a 3-minute commercial
That's
break.
the difference in an apartment and a condo. It's a condo if you own it. It's an apartment if you rent
They own it. They
All
own it.
right.
True.
Joey Football, it's time for your Hold My Beer.
Well, I guess I got to ask the guys, which way should I go? Should I go the customer side or the fan side?
Whatever gives us the
got-
best rant on
it's-
Aaron Boone.
We've got
Right,
two all-timers
yeah, I mean,
coming. Just which one do you want?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, just go with one, and if we don't like it, we'll tell you to do the other. So go first.
All right,
Whatever
fair
you want to
enough.
do.
First, hold my beer is I am so sick and tired of Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, TickPick, whatever you want to call it this week, when it comes to the monopoly of fans trying to see the teams that they have spent so much money on to see on TV in person. I went to the Jets game at JetLife. Fantastic seats, had a great connection through some of the people in the ticket office, so I wasn't expunged to these ticket fees. I looked at ALCS Game 2 tickets, and if it wasn't for our friends over at John Boy, who had a coupon code, thank goodness, I would have been out $382 to sit with Jesus. Now, granted, Jesus might be the biggest Yankee fan of all. Took the ball with him on Game 2 to let it go out of the stadium. I appreciate that. Jesus Cristo, Jesus Christ himself, Juan Soto is in right field. I understand that. But where do you find the way to put $84 in ticket fees on a ticket that is already as expensive as the GDP of a small nation? That's where my Hold My Beer comes from. Because, look, every single person, all they've ever heard is the convenience. I don't want to buy it from the box office. I don't want to do this. Convenience fee, online fee, credit card fee, because I said so fee. Where does it end at this point? Because it's getting to the point now where I don't even look at the actual ticket price. I go to checkout before I even make an informed decision, and I go, what's it actually going to cost me? Oh, the ticket's $85. It's $186 when you look at all the fees. That's my Hold My Beer. Get it together, TickPick.
I like it. That was one heck of a rant. I think
What's
at the end
the
of
other
the
rant?
the end of the show might be the other one. Not sure. Are you saving
Yeah,
that till the end?
The end of the show will be, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
can if you
Well,
want.
I've got to go. All right. So here we go. Here, let's pull the curtain back a little. I've got to go over and call the ECU volleyball game with Temple for ESPN Plus. Pilk's got to get on the road to get to Little Washington to call the game for 94.3 tonight. So Joey Football, we're totally screwing him over here because we're going to ask Joe to close the show out.
Just
Can
like
you
I
do
was in
that,
intro.
Joe?
Leave me the keys and I'll lock up.
All right. Let's take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll do a resounding edition of Does the P-Man Care, starring Joey Football, because we're abusing Joe today. It is the Patrick Johnson Show here on 94.3 The Game, and we've got Pirate football coverage tomorrow. We'll tell you all those deets when we come back.
We have you covered with all the ECU news and beyond that you need for the drive home. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
East Carolina and Army, 23rd ranked Black Knights hosting the Pirates tomorrow. It'll be a noon kick, 11 a.m. on the ECU Sports Network here on 94.3 The Game and 107.9 WNCT. You can join us tomorrow early, 9 a.m. with our Anson Belt and Buckle Pirate Game Day Countdown presented by Orthopedics East. Supposedly, Joey Football, Pilk will be providing breakfast for us tomorrow.
Oh, there we go.
But you won't get any because you'll be kind of out in the nether region from your remote studio, so you won't have the occasion to enjoy whatever it is Pilk is going to be getting for breakfast tomorrow.
So here's the thing: you got to remember, it's interns' jobs to get coffee, and I think that Nicky the Bull is actually heading back home this weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. He is, right, after his field trip today.
I had not heard he was.
Oh, maybe he's not. Maybe it's just that he has a field trip today, and that's why he was unavailable today. Okay.
He is currently in Virginia.
Oh, see, maybe he's not going. I was about to say, make the intern go get you coffee, but never mind. He's just got a field trip. He was unavailable today. That's what it was.
Yeah, he's in a steel factory.
I don't know what code you two are speaking, and I don't like it though. All right, so we are now going to do. Does the P-Man care? And in case you've missed this is stories we just didn't have time to get to this week. All right, Pilk, what do we have?
All right, I'm going to open it up with something that actually broke last week, but we didn't have time to get to it. We haven't done Does the P-Man care since then. 22-time major champion Rafael Nadal has announced that he will retire at the end of the year. Does the P-Man care?
Sure, it's a great one of the. It's the nemesis of Steve Logan's favorite tennis player, apparently. More on that to come. But, I think anytime a great retires, that's a big story. You covered it, I think. You mentioned it, so we did cover it.
I mentioned it in the update, but we didn't talk about it. We mentioned a lot of things in the update.
Well, that means we covered it.
Okay, I'm
sorry. This is an erroneous thing. For some reason, you really seem to care about it.
That's my favorite all-time player. I really do care. Yeah, and also, I mean, I grew up a Nadal fan.
He's a huge tennis guy. Yeah. Huge tennis guy.
Yeah.
Right. I don't care about that. All right. Go ahead. I don't care that Pilk's a tennis guy. All right. Actually, I do admire it a little bit.
Are we alternating Joey Football, or am I going to keep going and then we're going to go to yours?
We can alternate.
All right, go ahead.
P-Man, last night, LeBron James Jr. got a flagrant one foul in a preseason game. Do you care?
LeBron James Jr. The only reason I care that Bronny James is still anywhere remotely sniffing an NBA roster is just for the fodder and pure mockery of it's like LeBron's hairline. It just gives us something else to mock him about. And so that's the only reason I would care. Otherwise, anything Bronny or LeBron Jr. does, I don't care about at all. No.
All righty, next on Does the P-Man Care? Tropicana Field has had the roof completely torn off. There's still some metal beams up there, but the roof itself is gone. They're saying it will not be ready for the season opener in 2025. They are looking for a new temporary home, it sounds like, until their new arena is built in 2028 or something like that.
Yeah.
Does the P-Man care?
It's a stadium, not an arena, Pilk. Here's what's interesting. Here's why I would care. And now, this had some cold water thrown on it yesterday on this very station. Apparently, there's scuttlebutt that they could play in Durham, where the Bulls play, since that's the AAA affiliate. But the little Goodman guy, who's the son of the owner of Capital Broadcasting, and I guess runs it now, is basically saying it won't happen. Then he went on some crazy rant on Adam Gold's show about the women's soccer team or something. Just really strange behavior from a committed lefty, allegedly. So, I mean, my point is, it makes total sense to me. I'll never work for it. The thing that I don't care. That's why. So the thing that works to me, that kind of stands out to me, and I'm sort of trying to figure out here is, why spend, because it's supposedly going to cost 9 figures to replace the roof on that dump. And if you're going to build a whole new stadium, go ahead and get the whole new stadium started then, is what I would say. Go ahead and jump on it and get it started so maybe you can get in sooner. I don't know where they play. Could they play at the Yankees facility there in Tampa?
Yeah, it's been conversations. The Yankees have a minor league team there, but I'm sure you could find another field, seriously speaking.
Yeah.
But
So you're going to have to go somewhere where there's there's plenty of facilities in Florida they use at spring training. My guess is that's what they're going to end up doing. They're going to kind of barnstorm the state. And people may actually care about that because people in Florida buy spring training tickets.
This is true.
But don't care about the Marlins or care about the Rays. This might give them a little more interest in the Rays because then you could go and see them play your favorite team. But I think it's an interesting story. It could mean some baseball here, Major League Baseball in North Carolina. So I think that's a big story. I care about that.
And it will let you go to a game without doing some of the traffic because a lot of those towns are towns. They're not cities where those was a Sunshine League or whatever the heck it's called ballparks are.
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit. Thank you. I knew I was going to say the Cactus League. Is that all right? And then I just botched it. I apologize. Joey football's turn now that I'm sounding stupid.
P-Man, the 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars have completed a $1.5 billion plan to rebuild the stadium and the area around it. Do you care?
It's the stadium of the future. So, yeah, I'm a future-looking guy. So I care that we've got a stadium of the future coming. I can't wait.
For the Jaguars. Well, I mean,
maybe
Duval County.
Duval. Not going to London.
Maybe AEW will hold a big annual event there.
They probably will, and it'll sell 3,000 tickets.
Because it'll be a random midweek event, and they'll still have a steel cage match with 14 chairs and a bunch of other props, despite being a mid-card match on a Tuesday.
54-year-old Sting and Adam Copeland in a steel cage match on a Tuesday night in, May. Thanks.
So, I care because it's the stadium of the future. All right, what do you got on Does the P-Man Care?
I think I know the answer to this one, but it just broke after our show yesterday. I think it was broke during the Logan Zone. Tony Bennett is retiring effective immediately. Virginia basketball head coach won a championship in 2019.
Yeah, it's the biggest sports story today around these parts. So, I think that's a huge deal. I mean, he was kind of considered the heir apparent for the ACC after Krzyzewski and O'Roy hung it up. So, who's the heir apparent now? I mean, that's the thing. Boy, the ACC has some identity problems.
In Pitt?
Capel, maybe not.
Capel, sorry,
because he's at Pitt. And you called him Capel. So what does that? I mean, that tells you there that
show. What do you want? Am I Joey basketball?
I mean,
no, not until February.
Well, that's true. Larinaga is not really. I mean, he's old, so he's not really. But he's been to a Final Four at least. Hubert's been to a Final Four.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Larinaga didn't even go to a Final Four with his current ACC team. That's the problem.
I know.
Shire
I know.
Won
that's the
ACC,
thing.
But that was regular season, so.
True.
Yeah, I mean, the ACC's got a deal. Shire's got to kind of step it up this
Kevin
year.
Keatts is a winner, of course. He just won 6 straight games.
It's true.
Made the most miraculous run in the tournament.
5 straight.
Yeah.
Hey,
no, 4 straight. He won 4 straight.
Hey, you know what he did?
Oh, yeah, if you go back to the ACC tournament. Yeah.
In which he defeated Tony Bennett. Last ever ACC game he coached in as of now. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's Tony Bennett to run out the shot clock right before the season, before he retires.
So, some indications. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Wait 1 second here. Wait 1 second. That is good. That deserved a rim shot. That was really good. All right, I can't top that. What is next?
Another TB. Tom Brady, you're a broadcaster yourself. You understand the profession. Has become an owner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
We talked about this already. We talked about this.
I want to ask you, how do you think he can do this without being in a production meeting?
What?
He can't
what do you
go
mean?
to production
He's not
meetings.
in the production meetings?
He can't go to practice, production meetings, and he can't go to facilities or talk to players. So my question to you as a broadcaster, the same as I am, how in the hell is he supposed to do this on Sundays when he can't talk to a coach?
Is that true?
That's why I ask, does the P-Man care? There's a whole list of rules. I'll send them to you after this. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Look at Joey investigative is what that is right there. Joey journalism. I think the Brady thing is a real dud, to be honest with you, as the commentator.
Yeah, I think it's time.
He wants to be Peyton Manning, and he's not.
He wants to be
Peyton
Tony
Manning
Romo, and
is
he's not.
Also, no.
The Manning brothers are so smart because they didn't pigeonhole themselves by going to a booth. They're just doing their own thing, and people love it. People
on their couch.
Yeah, and people love the content. That's more interesting to watch the Manning cast than the games are.
True.
That's how you do to watch a game.
Some duds.
So we're running really short on time, but I have a P-Man / does the Joey football care. Jet Superman Fireman Eds claims the team's trying to phase him out. Boys, is it Joe? Is it true? And P-Man, do you care?
What is
got about
this
30
story?
seconds.
What is this?
Yeah.
Who is this person?
Fireman Ed?
Just
You know who Fireman Ed
shit.
is?
That's it. He quit on us when we were like 2-10. All of a sudden with Adam Gase, and then he was like, "I'm not coming to the stadium until we win." Well, now we're winning, Ed. Figure it out. You do a chant before kickoff. That's it. Move on. You're not part of the team. Thank you for your service.
I think you guys tried to phase
Tell
him
him,
out when he's
Joe.
wearing a Sanchez jersey. That's why he left.
No,
but
whoa.
whatever.
Tell him, Joe. Tell him, Joe. I don't know who this guy is, and I don't care. All right, we are going to throw it back to Pilk now for a 94-3 the game sports flash update, and then go to our Logan interview from yesterday, and then Joey Football will wrap up the show, maybe, if time allows.
Taking the rage out of your drive home.
You just cut me off! But it's no big deal.
Patrick Johnson on 94.3 The Game and the new IBX Media app.
If you missed Steve Logan's show any Thursday, go back and listen to the Logan Zone. The man makes too much sense. Coach Steve Logan with us here. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. I came back from 5-1 down in the third set this morning to win.
Okay.
Ooh, down
So-
2 breaks. That's a heck
Exactly.
of a yeah.
Exactly.
Look at you, Coach.
It was quite a performance. I'm proud of it. It cost me 3 Advil, and and I can barely walk. But the competitive fires are still flowing freely.
Ladies and gentlemen, now
pretty
joining
good.
the show from somewhere in Switzerland, Mr. Roger Federer. I don't know where it's
I wish.
I look, in this day and age in that sport, Coach might still could pick up a major. He might could in that sport.
Oh man,
Maybe he
people
could.
have no idea. I picked that sport up when I was about 40 years old, and people have no idea how physically demanding if you can play the game of tennis at all. If you can get into 5 and 6, 8-stroke rallies, it is a physical challenge. So anyway, sorry
Why
I
not
started all that.
pickleball? No, that's fine. Why not pickleball yet? Have you given that a go or no?
I'm holding pickleball off till I'm approximately 85, and then I'm going to join the pickleball world. I refuse to do the pickleball thing at this point.
I got you. A lot of guys and women, but a lot of guys I know, who were like you, Coach, were guys that played ball. They like the pickleball because it's not as hard on their knees. These are guys
That's
that also
true.
maybe played tennis and did some other things. So that's the big thing I hear from people about.
I'm a big
Pickleball.
pickleball fan just because it gets people up off the couch, and it is a game you can play almost immediately at some level. So I'm a fan of it, but I'm like I say, I'm going to hold it off so I can still run a little bit.
You can still run a little bit. All right. Do you have a favorite tennis athlete that you admired?
Yes, Novak. I accidentally fell into the Novak Djokovic world when he was 18 years old.
Okay.
And I just began to watch this guy and watched him early on when he was showing signs of greatness but couldn't finish. And then famously went onto his vegan diet nutrition idea that gave him incredible stamina. And but Novak Djokovic to me is without a doubt one of the top 1, 2, 3 greatest athletes that's ever walked the planet. Now you have to be a tennis guy to appreciate it, but his flexibility, explosiveness, reaction time, longevity, endurance, just pick an attribute that's necessary to be a great athlete, intelligence, toughness, mental toughness. he's just an amazing creature. And I have watched him, like I say, from the time he was 18 years old. If a match came on that he was in it, I watched it.
You know, Coach, and I think he's even got better with age because he finally got that temper.
Well, he still got it. But, you know, just this last week, he was in the finals of a 1,000-point tournament over in Shanghai. And the new Novak Djokovic, Jannik Sinner plays the game exactly like Djokovic. I mean, physically, you know, the elasticity, the change of direction, everything. Jannik Sinner is Novak Djokovic reinvented. But, you know, for Novak Djokovic to be 38 years old and playing against his 20-year-old and taking him to the limit is still a testament. I mean, he's just a magic athlete. And I know we've spent way too much time on tennis, but here we are.
No. Look, I love tennis. Love watching tennis. And the women now are kind of going through what the men went through a few years ago. I think, at least from American standpoint. And I could be wrong on this, but Pilk and I have talked a little bit about it. But there didn't seem like there's that one female star. You know, that's where all the players were a decade ago. Where all the women were the star. And, you know, American men's tennis or just men's tennis in general. But, you know, you got some marketable people in men's tennis now. The women are kind of going through it. But it's
well,
it's really
a little side story
Yeah.
for you. When I was the head coach at East Carolina, there was a little boy that I used to hit with in Greenville, America.
Mm-hmm.
And he was 8, 9, 10 years old at the time. And I would hit with this little boy. And I kept saying to myself, you know what? I don't win very many points against this little boy.
Yeah.
Well, that little boy was Tommy Paul.
Yeah.
And Tommy Paul, for those people that don't know, grew up in Greenville with a friend of mine that taught him tennis, Randy Bailey. And Tommy Paul is now number 12 in the world and is having a great, great, great professional tennis career. So there's a little inside baseball for you.
There you go. Let me. So you talked a little bit about this in your show. Those preseason expectations. All of us media experts, Coach.
Yep.
And how many teams that started the year in the top 25 are not in the top 25 any longer?
8. I got 8 at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But 9 of them. About 9.
9 of them. Okay. All
9.
Right.
So
whose
I could
fault
have,
is that?
It's
got to be the coach's fault. It's the coach's fault, right?
Well, no, it's the guys that were picking them. They should be fired because they are supposedly the experts that have torn apart all these rosters and who's coming back and how much experience and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden things don't work out, but the coaches do bear the brunt of those expectations. And I talk to people all through the week that are, you know, whatever. They're a Duke fan, they're an NC State fan, they're an East Carolina fan. And, you know, oh my goodness, I can't believe, you know, we were supposed to be good. Well, who said that? And it wasn't the coach that said it. And I've been caught in that trap a couple of times as a coach. And I could see it coming. You know, you're sitting there before the season ever starts and everybody's saying, oh my goodness, they're going to really be good. And you know how many holes you've got in your roster. And you're intimately aware with all of the things that you're going to have to cover up and, adjust to as you go. And then lo and behold, on top of that, you get some injuries and all hell breaks loose. So anyway, we've got 9 teams that were picked to the top 25. We are halfway through the season and they are nowhere to be found. So like I say, I could have taken some spit wads and a chalkboard and made up my own top 25 and been just about as accurate.
2 of those teams that started the year with 0 expectations but find themselves ranked this week are Army and Navy. And, of course, East Carolina's playing Army this week. You have some familiarity with the Army program when Todd Berry was involved as the coach there, did some of their television way back when. And they're back in the conference. Why is it working in this go-around, at least, you know, through 6 games, 5 in conference for Army, where when they were in Conference USA, it was it just totally came off the rails. Almost took the program out for good.
Well, the reason, and I'm very intimate with that period of time you're talking about. When I left East Carolina, my former offensive coordinator, Todd Berry, had taken the Army job, and he was given the job with marching orders. There's a little pun for you. His marching orders was to get Army out of the wishbone. So Todd really took a version of, the East Carolina West Coast idea to Army and attempted to plug that in there. And of course, just never had the quarterback to make all of this West Coast stuff work. And, the triple option has been, and always will be an equalizer. And, Fisher DeBerry, that name won't mean anything to someone young like Philip Pilkington. Fisher DeBerry went to Air Force way back and ran the wishbone and began to terrorize the entire United States. I saw Fisher DeBerry run the Air Force wishbone in the Liberty Bowl one night and beat Ohio State. And there wasn't a football player on Air Force's roster that would have made the Ohio State traveling team. But, again, it's the great equalizer. And I could, if I had a chalkboard, I could show you the arithmetic. The arithmetic changes whenever you're defending a wishbone because two of your defenders are going to be unblocked during the play. Well, if you don't have to block two of them, that gives you 11 offensive operators, okay, against 9 defensive operators. It's 11 on 9 when executed properly. And these guys right now, Army and Navy, I watched Navy last week play UAB, and it was an absolute bloodletting. And I do believe that someone my age, and I don't mean this, I'm not smarter. Again, I'm talking about experience. Someone my age would be much more well-equipped to go coordinate a defense against the wishbone than some of these guys that are 30 and 40 years old right now and showing up and, oh my God, there's Army, there's Navy, there's the wishbone. People my age, we grew up running the wishbone on offense. And we defended the wishbone 6-7 times a year because everybody was running the wishbone in 1971, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so, right now, Army and Navy are really enjoying they're on the upside down part of the spectrum. And nobody really knows what to do with it. That's part of it. The next part I would comment, I think that today's young athletes that are playing football for Army and Navy are much more comfortable throwing the football in a fairly meaningful fashion. And once you couple the ability to throw the football and run the triple option, there cannot be a more deadly combination to try to defend than that.
Coach Steve Logan, the Logan Zone's heard Thursdays at 5 o'clock on 94.3 The Game and also 96.3, our talk property down at the beach. Coach, speaking of more defenders than offensive players, Oregon wins a game against Ohio State. With that at the end, Dan Lanning said, he's purposely put the 12th person on. We talked to Doug Martin the other day, who told us, what ECU would used to do. They've changed the rule now. But that was a pretty little slick piece of coaching by Lanning and the Ducks there to beat Ohio State last week.
I guess it was. I haven't joined the bandwagon to declare it genius-level work because now that everybody's had time to think about it and digest it, there are ways in which that certainly could have backfired on you. And it worked out this time. But I'm not – Dan Lanning still – he was a little coy during his press conference, acting like, yes, they study all these things and they used it purposefully. I'm not totally convinced that's the case. If I had done that and done it accidentally and it worked out like that, I would have pretended I was the smartest guy in the room on that deal as well. But we'll never know. I don't think we'll ever know. But you're right. I think just this afternoon the NCAA came out and changed the rule to where you can't take advantage of that anymore.
Oregon will play Purdue Friday night here tonight, and then Duke and Florida State. Is this the opportunity for Duke to finally beat Florida State for the first time ever?
If they don't do it now, they never will, I don't think, because Florida State's a dysfunctional football team on about every level. They're still playing a modicum of defense. The offense is absolutely all the wheels have come off. There's no offense there. And, Duke is playing pretty good defense right now. In fact, I've got in my stack of papers, I'm into the, what do they call it? Lies, damn lies, and statistics. It's that part of the year now where you can pull out statistics and build your case any way you want to build it. But Duke is playing a good form of defense right now. They really are. And but I believe that Duke can do this. I believe that game is in Durham. Yep. And, this is an opportunity. And, Duke has a chance to be a 6-1 football team. And they are a good football team. Duke is not a dynamic football team, but they're a good football team. They're solid. And their quarterback, as you've heard me talk about, the quarterback's, he's real. He's a real NFL guy. He doesn't have great talent around him. And it's holding Duke back a little bit. But he has won 2, maybe 3 games kind of by himself so far this year. So we'll see. I'm a Duke fan in some ways just because of their underdoggedness.
Yeah. All right, I got 2 games for you this weekend. No underdogs here. These are all the big, mighty SEC. But we got Bama at Tennessee. Who you like and why, Coach?
Well, I think I like Tennessee a little bit better just because of their defense. Of course, Alabama's still Alabama. And, the number of times that Tennessee has beaten Alabama is not very often. I believe that game is in Neyland Stadium, and that's going to make it tough for Alabama. But I do know this, that that game is going to drive a nail in somebody's coffin because it's going to give you 2 losses. And at the end of the year, I think you're going to be really – there'll be a 2-loss team probably in this 12-team tournament, but there won't be a lot of them. So this is going to be a winner-go-home or a loser-go-home idea in the Alabama-Tennessee game. But Tennessee's defense, I think, when you look at all the numbers, gives Tennessee a little bit of an advantage.
And then Saturday night, 5th-ranked Georgia at number 1 Texas. Who do you like and why?
It's at Texas, so you got to take Texas. And when you look at all the numbers and begin to crunch all of them, Georgia's shown some vulnerabilities in some areas where they're not all that you would think they would be. And they're good. They're real good. But Texas is real good everywhere. Offense, defense, you name it. They got it humming right now. And I'll be a little surprised if Georgia can go in there and pull that thing off.
All right. The Panthers this week are playing the Washington Commandos. The Commanders, I'm sorry. The Commandos. All right. Jaden Daniels. Troy Aikman tells the guys, I think at Barstool, that's the best young quarterback, out of this current crop of young first, second-year guys that he has seen. What has made him so effective, Coach, in Washington?
It's the same thing that makes Brock Purdy effective. And, you're getting into I have never gotten through this on my show, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 categories with bullet points below the 8 categories of characteristics and attributes that's necessary to be a good quarterback. And I just built that in my own private time as I traveled through my 40 whatever years of coaching and coaching quarterbacks in particular. And, the main thing, there's a mechanism in which a young man, I call it, and there's all kinds of fancy names for this, okay? I call it soft focus. The quarterbacks I had, and I had 5 of them play in the NFL, if a young man had what I call a soft focus, you're in the pocket, you've released 5 receivers, you've got a triangle read to work through, 1, 2, 3, you've got an alert post to look at as you're dropping back. That's 4. And then you've got an outlet for 5. You got 5 receivers. But I can't tell you, all 5 of the young men that went on and played in the NFL that I had a chance to work with, they would make throws. And after the series would be done, I would always call them directly to my side on the sideline. And I would debrief them. What did you see? Here we go. Da, da, da. Invariably, they would make a throw that would surprise me. And I would say to them, what took you to that throw? And invariably, their answer was, Coach, I just saw him. Well, you can't coach that. And so any young man that's prospering and at the quarterback position, I promise you they've got soft focus. Now, soft focus is a Logan term invented by me because
Loganism?
I know that
Right.
it's a Loganism because it's the peripheral vision idea where you're looking straight ahead and you can take your fingers and spread them to the right and the left. You can still see them. They can play the game that way. All right. I had other quarterbacks that really struggled and they saw the game through a straw. Okay, so let's just say you build a triangle read and you got a curl, you got a spot route, and a wide route. Okay, and well, they would look to the curl and see the curl. Then they would have to shift their eyes to the spot and see the spot route, and then shift their eyes to the wide route, and that's how they would see the game. Very mechanical, like I say, through a straw. And you can play the game that way, but it's not as good as playing the game with soft focus. And I guarantee you that quarterback at Washington has got what Brock Purdy, you watch Brock Purdy play the game. It's almost slow motion, right? It's Joe Montana. It's these guys that, Tom Brady, the ball's coming out and you can't believe it came out there. And not only did it come out there, it came out accurately and it was productive.
Coach, great stuff. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the football weekend. And when you don't let this stuff build up, Coach. Go hit some tennis balls, some pickleballs. Go do something. Don't let it build up, Coach. Don't let it build up.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Right. Yeah, man.
Thanks, guys. Much like an Aaron Rodgers 2-minute drive, I'm going to do this in under a minute. First off, I want to thank the P-Man for having me on today. What a great show. Obviously, a rant is a rant when it gets to where it needs to be. Make sure you listen tomorrow to the Pirate Game Day Countdown bright and early at 9 a.m. And the first thing is, much like being at 9 a.m., it was way too early last night for you to pull Clark Schmidt. I understand you got guys on runners at the corners. Jose Trevino's getting picked off, and the Yankees are running bases like they're drunks. Like they walk out there with beer goggles at a driver's ed course and run the bases like drunks. Jazz gets thrown out at second. Volpe's the only guy that seems to be able to run the bases correctly. And most importantly, you got a Muppet who's dancing by the strings because one of the Steinburners decided he hit a home run in a Game 4. And la-di-da, the Yankees haven't won a World Series since then before 2009. So I just want to thank everybody for listening to the Patrick Johnson Show. Tune in tomorrow. And, go Yanks.